How do you find yourself and shape your own destiny in amongst the vast ocean of emotions and personalities? How do you know who you really are? It seems we've spent so long pretending to be somebody or emulating another that we don't have any idea who we are anymore. That could be because we've been expected to be someone in particular or to follow a path that has been laid out for us. And how do you even know if you're lost? You know you're lost because things don't work out the way you want them to. They're difficult, relationships don't flow, and we're not who we thought we'd be by now. And that's sad because you came in this world to be you, nobody else. So how could this go so wrong? From the time we were born, we were following examples from the people in our lives. As we are growing up, our early days are simply developing patterns that we adopt from those around us. If the people we were brought up with weren't helping us pave our path, then we can easily get lost. We don't judge whether those patterns we adopted were in our best interests or whether they'll work for us in the long run. We just observe and process, and we believe that what we're digesting is the right path for us, the path that takes us to where we're going, wherever that may be. There are no choices to be made at that time. Can you see how this could go very wrong? There is no discernment around whether the habits we're developing in our childhood are for our highest good. As a young child, it's not even a sliver of thought. The people we grow up with are God in our eyes, and therefore they must know what's right for us. They even tell us so, therefore there's no doubt. And I'm not saying they're leading us astray on purpose. But as we grow, there are cracks, indicators along the way that the habits we've adopted don't work for us. It's in the teasing at school or the bullying, no matter whether you're the victim or the bully. It's in the pain of rejection and the disappointments of failure. Reflected back to us are the relationships that aren't working, the whispers and the stares, the embarrassing moments and the humiliation. Very soon we're thinking there's something quite wrong with us. But there's nothing wrong with you, nothing at all. How you're feeling is communication. The indicators of your inner guidance are showing you via your emotions that the habits you've adopted aren't working. That's why it's painful. Our experiences are a painful reflection of what's not working inside of us. It's painful, so the message is received. The message is that this isn't working and something needs to change. It's time for reflection. In reflection, we can see that those patterns we adopted, say on relationships from our mother, may not have been the best path for us. So it's back to the drawing board. Who do we see around us now that's good at relationships? Who do we admire and say, I'd like one like that? As soon as we recognise an alternative and decide that we'd like that one, then we've begun to change the path. In this way, we're subconsciously choosing to adopt new patterns to replace the old, outdated ones that don't work for us. So who has the work ethic that we'd like? For me, it's somebody who's uplifting, happy and wealthy. Money just isn't enough for me to call it successful. So what do? How can I adopt some of those principles in my life? There are many examples. When you recognise a great example, then say, yes, I'd like to do it like that. That's another adoption of new patterns. You've changed your path. What kind of parent would I like to be? Who's great at parenting that I admire? Yes, I'd like to do it like that. See how it goes? It's important to know that you don't need to know these people well, and you aren't adopting all their patterns, only the ones that you admire. They don't have to have everything that you want. This is how to shape your destiny. We are born with a personality and a purpose, and those expand and grow during this and every lifetime. of our destiny, we are born a blank canvas. We create our destiny with patterns of behaviour, habits and intentions. That's why we adopt the ones of the people around us when we're young. And as we move through life, we get to decide what works for us and what doesn't. It's a little like learning to paint. You begin with the squiggles, and as you develop, the work gains more depth in the landscapes and in the faces. And your art resembles who you've become. So rather than trying to find yourself, it's more a path of self-discovery. Who am I now, and who would I like to become? The answer is that it's always you, but with what traits? You get to choose that, and that's what is your destiny. You can always decide to buy a car, but what type of car would you want? And what are the extras that you'd want to add? You don't just buy a car. This is what makes your car different to another. And this path of self-discovery is what makes you unique. You're born with your body and a personality. But what traits would you like to adopt? And how do you wish to mold your personality to become the very best version of yourself? Everybody changes. Everyone, no exceptions. That's what we've come here to do. Expand our consciousness through the choices and experiences in life. And every experience adds to the palette that you paint life with. So change is a given. The direction you take, the things you achieve, that's a choice, and it's called your destiny. Thanks for joining me. I'm Gail Marie from 6 Dimensions of Healing.